I wanted to also mention about just attitude and such, and how it is. You okay with me talking about that? Time when you got upset with me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the point of the video is that we wanted, Scott really is important to him, that maybe it would be helpful to other people to understand. And one thing that people with dementia oftentimes have a problem, or can't control their emotions as well as they used to. And I mean, anger has probably always been an emotion that you've struggled with, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, we had a situation where I was really kind of rushing too, but I was in the backyard and doing something that trying to dig up some pavers and such, and Scott, he was irritable, and he came out and let me know how I felt about it. And so he was not happy with me for being outside, working on stuff. And it was pretty.
I got, I don't know, I went and just blew my top at her and cussed at her, and I was just really mean. And at of course, at the time I was blinded by my anger,
Yeah.
And after I cooled down and we not talk, it gave me time to think about what I did, and I was wrong because Kelly didn't do nothing wrong, and I really don't. I don't understand. And I still don't understand why I like that. I don't. I don't understand, and that's what bothers me. Is I don't know why I was like that.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it was the dementia, the brain thing, the dementia. But what was the good thing is that you felt like you had done something wrong. You knew that, and you apologized to me. And
Yeah.
I mean, you were just very emotional about this apology. I mean, you really regretted what you had said, and so.
Yeah.
But I've seen our. Don't want the video to get too long here, but I want to make sure and get our point across. But I know that a lot of women, when their husbands have this dementia, they have to make sure they have a room in their house that has a lock on the inside of the room, so they can lock themselves in and be safe, when their husband with this dementia will come at them and be angry, and just the meanness will hit. And so when he lashed out at me, I stepped back and let him do whatever it was he was he was just took over and wanted to do the pavers himself, basically. And I just didn't know what to think. It was really, I was kind of scared, you know. I thought, because of the stories I'd read about and heard about with people in my situation. And so I was getting ready to go on a trip to help my son move, and I thought, okay, I was leaving in the morning, and I probably should just go pack my bag, and that way if I need to, if this continues and escalates, then I can just grab my bag and go ahead and leave the house and have my belongings with me, you know, knowing that Scott was eventually would cool down. I just didn't know. I'd never been in that situation before, so I didn't know really what to do. So I stayed in the back of the house for quite a while, and Scott had finished. He came in, he took a shower, he ended up in the living room. A couple hours had gone by, and so I thought, well, I will, and Scott hasn't ever heard me tell you to talk about this, so he hasn't heard this. But so I thought, I'm in the back of the house, and I finished my packing and made sure I had everything I needed, and I knew he was in the living room because I could hear him in there, and I thought, well, I'll just walk into the living room and then walk out and see what happens, you know, if he's still angry or not. And so I did that. I just kind of walked in, and he knew, and once I knew he knew I was there, I, you know, backed out and kind of saw, well, that went okay, you know. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll try a little bit more. I'll go sit down in there. So I went and sat down in my chair, and, you know, he's in his chair, and I just kind of piddled with something that I was working on and waited, and it took a little time. And so then a little while went by, and I said, well, do you want to watch our show? And he said, sure. So I turned it on, and we watched it. He seemed like he was okay. He wasn't angry anymore. And so I then, anyway, we watched a series of this show we were watching. It ended, and it stopped the show, and it was quiet in the living room. And are you okay with me telling you what happened? I just want to make sure you're okay with that. Because I know some people wouldn't want.
I'm okay, but I don't really remember.
Yeah. So then Scott, I had been sitting there in my chair, and I was still emotional about this because it was, I just didn't want this part of the dementia. I just thought, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to do this at all. And I hope it's just not the start of that, and the anger, and the, you know, where I just didn't know what to think. So I was emotional too, just sitting there and not letting Scott know that I was, you know, emotional, just watching the show and acting like everything was okay. And then anyway, that show ended, and he said, honey, I'm so sorry. He started apologizing, and he even started crying, and he said, I don't know why I did that, and I don't like that, and I don't want to hurt you ever. And then I'm wailing with him and bawling, so we're both sitting there bawling, and, you know, I didn't really know what to say. I couldn't say it's all right, because it really wasn't all right. But I just said, you know, we'll just go on and try not to do this again. And it was okay. I went out of town the next day, and I posted on my private group that I'm in with other people who have a spouse only who has frontotemporal dementia, and said, hey, you know, this happened, and I just don't even know what to feel about it. And it was wonderful how the support that I got. It was just amazing, the support and the love that others had just for me. And they don't really even know me. They just, you know, see my posts every once in a while. But it was just fantastic and helpful to me. There was one in particular that moved me, and after I read what she had to say, it and watched her video, because she had a video, but she said, Kelly, this is what she was writing to me, Kelly, look around you, stop and look around you. What's different? What's going on? What is new Have you had too much company? Has there been unusually different noises in the house? Loudness? What is different? And as she was naming off these things, has this happened? Has that happened? And I was like, oh, wow. We'd had company like 3 weekends in a row. We had just so much excitement going on, and I had a garage sale, and it was too much stimulation for him. Then I was leaving to go out of town and rushing and trying to do this, and he could not handle it. His brain couldn't take it. But it just really helped me to realize that I need to be careful of what our surroundings are, what's going on in our home, how am I interrupting his routine, how are things different. I've got to keep things the same, and just be careful about that and mindful of it. I'm sorry I did that. I didn't even realize it.
You don't need to apologize.
Well,
you didn't do nothing wrong.
Yeah.
I was the one that was in the wrong.
Yeah, and I know that, but I wish I know now, so I know to be careful now.
Well,
But
I don't know. It still kind of confused me.
I know.
Confuses me.
It's one of those things, like you said, I don't even know what happened. I don't understand. I don't know why. I don't understand.
Yeah.
So, but we wanted to have an opportunity to reach out to others who might not understand the anger part and the emotional part of a person with dementia. Like I was told, and what blessed me was someone telling me, look around you, Kelly, what's different, so hopefully that can help some others. And I have let this video get way too long. So we're gonna end.
Okay.
Unless, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, no.
Okay. I love you with all my heart, honey.
I love you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.